So, project 1, drawing number 2. What is drawing number 2? Orthographic drawing for model construction. Now, drawing number 1 was what? Orthographic drawing of the mouse, the real mouse, okay? So, you draw it from the front, from the top, bottoms, two side views of the real mouse with all the details, with measurements, with section view, everything that we explained last time. Now, drawing number 2 is orthographic drawing again, but for model construction. So the first drawing was on the graph paper with the details. The second drawing will be on butter paper, a copy, a traced drawing. So you'll place the butter paper on top of the graph paper, okay? And you will copy what? The outlines. So, outlines. What I mean is, do you see what I have here? So imagine this is a copy of our previous drawing. Only the outlines. Do you see here? The outlines. Okay? Not what's inside here, not the details. No measurements, okay? You just copy on the same location all the views, the outlines. Now, this drawing for model construction, meaning I brought with me some models to show you, just so you can visually understand what are you drawing here, okay? So these are some of the cardboard models. You have foam model and cardboard model. This is the cardboard models, and we will have to draw the drawing for it. So later when you construct this, you will construct it based on this drawing, okay? So, the cardboard model, made out of cardboard. Now, don't be concerned with what type it is exactly, all these details about the materials. I will explain later. We are still drawing, but this is, I might not have to show you this, but I want to show you just a visual to understand what I'm talking about here, okay? So we have cardboard sections. So you will construct the mouse from cardboard. And with sections, what is the purpose of this type of model? To show the form. So this is the real form of the mouse, you see, with all the curves, with everything, but in a simplified way. So this is just to show the major form of a product, for example, that you are designing, without concern about the small details, okay? But what is important? To have the major form correct. So, for example, this mouse, as you can see, very different than this mouse, okay? Size-wise, and even notice here how the curves, okay, very different, okay? So this mouse, obviously different. So this is for what they do these models, for to, again, to explain the general form. And if I want to check, for example, okay, I want to put it in my hand and see, is it comfortable to have, for example, this curve here, or this size for my hand? If you have taken ergonomics with me in the past, you understand the connection between the human and the product. So everything that you design is for the human. It has to fit the body part that it comes in contact with, okay? So these models, they make to check a design, whether it is okay or not okay, needs modifications, but without being concerned about the small details, okay? Another mouse, okay? Do you see the curve, how it is? So this is a copy of the original one, okay? And again, very different size, very different details here regarding the curves. So this model is done out of section of cardboards. Notice at the base, they have a base, so out of cardboard cut, all of them, okay? And this base follows what? The outline of your actual mouse. So if this is the base, the bottom view, do you see the bottom view of your actual mouse? So this piece has to be cut out of a cardboard later, and it will look exactly the same like the mouse you have, okay? And the same size, because we are dealing with scale 1:1. Now, notice what is happening in the middle. In the middle, you see in the middle, there is one cardboard piece that is standing on the base. That is glued, standing on the base. This here cardboard piece in the middle is the outline of your front view of the mouse. Again, one cardboard piece cut and glued exactly in the middle of the base. Okay? And then the third step is to cut these pieces and these pieces. Okay? So from this side and this side, you will have 2 times the same piece. So if you have one piece here, you will have the same here. One piece here, the same here. One here, same here. So this is when we come to the actual model making. Okay, I will remind you of these things, and then I will explain more. Now, just for the drawing to understand. So these pieces will be standing, glued again on the base. Now, the cardboard that you will be using, the cardboard, is of a very hard type, okay, hard type. Later you can touch it and, more details I will explain later. But what is important now for the drawing is the thickness. The thickness is 2 millimeter, okay? 2 millimeter. That's why when I draw here now the cardboards, I will make them 2 millimeter. And everybody must have the 2 millimeter cardboard. Now, the space in between each piece, 5 millimeter. So, we have 2 millimeter cardboard, 5 millimeter space. 2 millimeter cardboard, 5 millimeter space. Okay? And we will continue until we finish the shape, basically, of the mouse. From both sides, the same thing. Okay? So, but we need to first draw. We need to first draw these pieces, and depending on the shape of your mouse, you need to draw, because each mouse different shape. And then we don't know, like for example, I don't know now, while I'm still drawing, I don't know how many pieces I will have. But once I draw it, every piece 2 millimeter, 5 millimeter space, I will know how many pieces I will have and the shape of each piece. So later, when we come to the model making stage, you will use this drawing to make the cardboard model, okay? So, anything not clear from what I explained until now? Okay? Okay, so let me continue. So, the first thing, we copy what? The outlines of the mouse. So you will place your the tracing paper on top of the graph paper, and please make sure it is perfect. So you can put some tape here to hold it in place while you are copying the outlines. After you copied the outlines, okay, you have to draw the cardboard pieces. Now, we said that at the base you will have one cardboard piece, look, that will follow the shape of the bottom view of the mouse. So, just put this cardboard piece without any details inside, because look, there is no details, okay? Now, the real mouse will have details here, but we said we are simplifying. Simplified model for just to explain the shape, the main shape, without the details. So, if, for example, I like the main shape, it's comfortable for the hand, the design looks okay until this stage, that is if you're designing the mouse, then you can move to the next stage and design the details and continue with the work, okay? So this is like a test model they make in the real world, okay? So the bottom piece will stay empty, like this, only with an outline. The top piece, however, so this is our front view. The top is this, okay? The bottom is this. It will stay empty. So the top view, we will have all the details. So we'll have in the middle the cardboard piece, and we will have these sections visible. So we have to draw what in the middle, exactly in the middle, a 2 millimeter cardboard piece. So this one has to be 2 millimeter, the thickness of the cardboard, okay? Okay, now from here we will have sections, and from here. So it doesn't matter, from here you can start or from here, as close as possible to the end. Now you have a curve here, and this is straight. But you have to, as much as possible, because you're limited between 2 millimeter cardboard and 5 millimeter space. If I wanted a more detailed model, I will tell you, put, for example, 2 millimeter space. But no need, because this is enough to explain the form, okay? So, it's simplified again. So I will start as close as I can to the end. So I will have here the first cardboard piece, 2 millimeter. Then I will leave 5 millimeter space and draw another one of 2 millimeter, 5 millimeter space, 5 millimeter space again, please make sure it is very accurate in your drawing, okay? If you are drawing not carefully, if these are a little bit shifted, because you're not using, for example, a T-square, you need to use your T-square here to make sure, so the T-square from this side, and another triangle here, and you will move the triangle this way and that way to make sure the lines are perfect, because very easy to shift them. Or, for example, if you're not accurate, that each of these will be 2 millimeter with the space is 5 millimeter, the number will be different. And in your model, because you will copy what you have here, make the model. So the model will also look bad. The drawing will be bad and the model. Okay. So from here then, you will do the same thing, okay? Because it's a copy of these. And continue, okay? I will not continue the drawing, it's obvious. So, the same size what you have here, you will have here, because the object is symmetrical. It's symmetrical if you divide it in half. Okay, makes sense. Okay. So, we are following what? The curve with this, as much as we can. Now, each of these, please be careful, here the ends. Don't leave them as this curve. You need to make them straight, 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 straight. Okay? Very important, okay? Because even though this is a curve, the real pieces will be straight. And if you don't make them straight, if you don't draw them, you will have some mistakes in these drawings here. So straight. Okay. Now, everything has to be aligned, we say. So, from each of these pieces, you will put the dotted lines down. I don't need to see these dotted lines, but I can see if the drawing is not accurate, not aligned, that means you didn't do it, okay? So, from each of these, like for example this one, dotted line down. So where does it start here, and where does it end? Then, from the second piece, dotted line down, where does it start? Where does it end? And after this process, you will draw them in this location. Again, the complete piece following this curve. So, the next one, dotted lines down, the start and the end. Now, you can start with doing these on the front view, and then taking dotted lines up and drawing it here. The same thing, okay? You can start here or you can start here. The same thing. Again, 2 millimeter and with 5 millimeter space. 2 millimeter cardboard with the green and 5 millimeter space. And all of them have to be aligned with what's up here.
Doctor, I have a question.
1 second. Yes.
This will be one of the drawings that you asked for, or we are just talking about the model?
What did I say in the beginning? Drawing number 2.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Yes, this is the drawing that you will use to make the model. Okay? In this class, we are copying the design of the mouse, but imagine this is a real design project where you are the designer of the mouse. You will have to do the drawings, then you will have to do the models, okay? That's the correct way. But we are practicing just how to use the materials, how to do the drawings, these kind of things. So, now, so the cardboard pieces from here. Now why, notice, why did I leave this line? Do you see this line here? Why did I leave it when I say that we don't need details inside? Because this is the major line that changes the shape of the mouse, okay? Like for example, this line, maybe this point here of this line, do you see this point? Is this point. And this point here is this point. Notice that. It's very important. Well, my drawing not accurate, but in general, you know. So this line here and this point. So the beginning of a shape change, like for example, the mouse goes this way, then suddenly it changes shape. The start of this changing the shape process and the end, we need to keep the major line, because when we do the cardboard pieces, we need to mark this location. So this is, for example, here a line, 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 line. Why do we need to mark these lines? Of course, as straight lines, we will mark them. Because these will help you, the location of these. When you transfer to the side views, it will help you know, okay, at this point I have a change of shape. Otherwise, it will be so hard to imagine where it starts, where it ends. Okay, now what will happen on the side views? For example, this view here. Notice, again, these cardboard pieces, we make them straight here, parallel to the surface. Be careful, okay? If you leave them as a curve, you will make a mistake where the start point is, where the end point is. So now, because it's straight, as it's going to be in real life, we can take one line from each, okay? So, the first piece starts here. First of all, before I draw these pieces, let me draw the middle piece, okay? In the middle, we have a 2 millimeter cardboard. The 2 millimeter cardboard has to be here and here. Okay, now we can start transferring. So this first piece here, okay, so it starts here. The second one is here. The third one here. The fourth one here. And the fifth one here, and so on. Now, and so on. So, The first piece, I know it starts here, but what kind of shape will it have? Look, again, if you look at it from this view, for example, the first piece here of this mouse, okay, it has a specific shape. Not all the mouses are round. Like you can have, look at this shape, okay? Look at this in the, well, this student didn't here divide it in half. It should have two pieces, one piece here, one piece here. But still the shape, it's visible. Look at this shape here in the beginning, or here, okay? This, every mouse different, okay? But how do I know from basically this shape here, okay? This is my guideline, and also this line, the major line that changes the shape. So this should be a guiding point. So for example, the shape here, okay, is it straight or is it round also? Sometimes you have to look at the real mouse also, because it's so much curves, not to get confused, okay? So you look at this and you look at the real mouse. And you decide, okay, this is, for example, it starts straight, but then at this point it goes down and follows this, for example, and ends like this. So the other one will be in the same way. Okay, what about the second piece here? Now, please notice that each piece will be behind, so the second will be behind the first. We will see it this part, but we will not see behind here, okay? But it doesn't matter. It's what we see is enough for the model, because we have from different views. So the starting point is where of this piece? Here. And then what happens? Is this a curve? Is this what's going on here? And then it will change the shape in a specific way and end somewhere in this location. And from here, the same thing. And then the next piece. Maybe here the mouse becomes, for example, more round, okay? So maybe this piece becomes more round, but it still follows the shape. And then the next one, okay? And the next. So these pieces, for example, this is number 1, number 2, number 3. Number 3 piece, for example, is actually all of this piece. Okay? Number 2 is all of this piece. Number 1 is this. But because they're behind, as you can see in these models, okay? So you can see the first piece, the second behind, the third is behind. So we only see part of them, okay? But when we rotate the mouse from this view, we can see the size of them, of each piece. We can see also other details. So when you do one of the size and you're sure that you're doing the curves correct, just copy to the other side because symmetrical. And from here, the same thing, okay? Now, because they are from different views, one is from this view and one is from this view, the curves of the mouse will be different, okay? So from the front, maybe it looks different than from the back. So that's normal, okay? But the same procedure. So from here, line to see where it starts. From here, where it starts. The same thing. And then, the first piece, what kind of a shape will it have? Here, is this round, or is it straight, or is it a corner? Most of the mouses will not have a lot of corners, like straight lines, because most of them are curves. But look at this mouse, for example, which is interesting. So it has a curve on the top, and then it has corners. You see each piece, and then suddenly it becomes like this, and then more corners, and then it goes down. So this kind of mouse, because of the location for the finger, okay, to be here comfortable. So if you have this kind of mouse, you will have on the side, do you see this line that I leave? This is, for example, this mouse would have had a line here, okay, showing each of these corners, where they are located. So here, a sudden change of shape starts. So we have a curve, then suddenly it changes to something else. So you need to keep these locations marked to help you. So for example, I'm just doing it as example. So this piece here, do you see the second piece? It starts here, okay, great. Then, do you see this here, this line, where this line intersects? So we have a like sudden change of shape, for example. So it could be, for example, that at this point we have a sudden change of shape. Suddenly something happens, okay? Going inwards, going outwards, going, okay? So we need to illustrate that in the drawing. So the third one, for example, it starts here, okay, but the change of shape starts in a certain location. So what happened in this location here, okay? How does it go? Now, we cannot show it here because already I have these two curves drawn, which actually show that the mouse is curved in this way. So if, for example, like here, okay, we have this change, this also helps you. So you have to look from the different views and be very careful of how the curve changes. As I said, it will start in the mouse something and end with something else, like in this mouse, for example. So here in the beginning, it looks very different than here. It's a little bit straighter here, it's smaller, and then in the back it becomes very kind of curvy, okay? Because this follows the curve of the hand. So when you rest the mouse, that's why it's designed this way, I mean, okay? And so to be comfortable. So most of the mouses have this kind of shape. Okay. Now, when you're done with these sides here, so whatever here the shape is, then you will have to do from the other side the same things. Okay, whatever here happened. Another reminder, okay? These to be straight. Be careful, don't leave them as like this, for example. Okay, so we have, for example, a curve, and we have 2 millimeter, then we have, so this 2 millimeter, then 5 millimeter space, then 2 millimeter, and then 5 millimeter space. So this here, do not leave them at an angle following the curve, because this is not going to happen. This cardboard is straight, okay? So, straight, straight, straight. Because when you take lines out to draw these shapes, you will be taking it from here. So some students who don't do this, what happens with them? What happens? What kind of a mistake? Let's say I don't do this, okay? I leave it with the curve. That means some students take one line out here, the second line out here, which is not correct. You will not cut the cardboard at an angle. It will be straight. Okay? And so that you can take one line out, you have to draw one line here. Okay? So this is wrong. And then this view becomes confusing. Instead of one line, they have two lines. And they don't understand how this happens. Okay. So, I brought these mouses just for you to understand why we have 2 millimeter cardboard pieces and then 5 millimeter space, just visually to understand what you're doing. Each one of you will have different numbers of pieces. That's normal, because some mouses are small, some mouses are larger, okay? And each piece will have a different shape, following the shape of the mouse. Okay. Now, someone want to ask me a question I forgot to answer? Who wanted to ask me a question?
I asked you already.
Yes, you asked me, yes. Someone else have a question or anything? About this, something not clear? Now, when everything completed, you will have, this is an example, okay? It will look something like this. Now, as I said, the labels for the views, top view, bottom view, side view, and this, leave them until the end, okay? Make sure now they are in the correct locations, the drawing is correct, the labels in the end, you will do them for all the drawings. Just changing the information as your worksheet describes. Okay? You must have a border again of 1 centimeter. Don't forget the divisions also to put them. Okay? And this is basically it for this drawing. With pencil, okay, a clean and a tidy drawing. Anything not clear? More explanation needed? I basically covered everything that you need to be careful about in this drawing. Now, regarding the material, what it is exactly, don't worry about it now. Later I will go over it, and I will bring again the models, and you can see, and we will talk about more in detail, okay?